show. We have a big show for you tonight. We have a big show. We have a big show for you tonight. All right, guys. My name is King David MMA, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, pro MMA champion. I coach and I train at Extreme Couture, so I have a lot of inside information on everything that's going on in the MMA space. And I am followed by some of the top influencers and billionaires and people like that on the planet, celebrities, so I can give you guys the inside look. Tonight we have a very big show for you tonight. We're gonna talk about problems at the White House with the White House card. Dana White and Donald Trump, man, they're trying to do something for the community. They're trying to do something for America. They're trying to put on a UFC at the White House, and they're facing major challenges. A bunch of stuff that nobody's talking about, and some stuff that you've probably never thought about is affecting this card in a major way. And when I see these dudes like hater-ass Luke Thomas or hater-ass Ariel Helwani giving their takes, it's like these takes are so corny and biased and basic. They don't even understand what's actually going on. So we're going to get down to the truth of the matter on things tonight. And before we get started, real quick, man, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, hit the chat. And when you subscribe, make sure you turn notifications on. So when you always know when I'm going live, because I like to interact and I'm trying to connect with you guys. So if you guys are on here with me, it makes it that much more enjoyable for me. I really enjoy going live. I don't like editing. I would rather have this be a conversation rather than a monologue. I want to interact with you guys. So make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell so that we can chat together on here. Furthermore, let's talk about this shirt. Let's talk about this Fight Circus shirt, right here. Felony Charles Bennett. I just cornered Felony in bare knuckle for his first knockout since 2016. Felony lived with me, and I not only cornered him, I trained him for that fight. So here is his Cash App, and these are a bunch of his jail photos. So shout out to Felony for the crazy Fight Circus shirt. This shirt is banned from BKFC. Felony wore the white one. He wore it like this, and it has a red stripe through it. So when you see him walking out as the Burger King man with the red stripe on his shirt, that is actually duct tape covering up the Fight Circus logo, because BKFC was not having it. So this is the banned shirt. If you want this, DM me on King David MMA on Instagram, and I will get you in touch with the Fight Circus store. I'll send you the link so that you can cop a shirt. Furthermore, if you know somebody who's a coach or owns a gym, man, send them to Studio Millions. StudioMillions.com will pack their gym. All right. I've done $2 million in gym sales at one location in 18 months. And I basically built out a system and a team to pack your gym. So if you like that, if you like money, right? If you want a money printer in your gym, then go there and I will hopefully make it rain $100 bills down on your head like an Atlanta strip club. So if you're into that sort of thing, then go ahead and hit Studio Millions. Now that we got all of that out of the way and these great shirts, I'm also going to be dropping a course, and it's because I was thinking, I was like, what's the most valuable thing I can do for people, right? I used to be 242 pounds. I've weighed in as low as 150 pounds. So I lost 92 pounds of body fat, essentially. I went from being a broke, homeless, destitute loser living on my friend's couch in the back of his mom's house in a non-air conditioned room. And I shared that couch, itchy dog-haired covered couch, with his pit bull Penelope. So shout out to my buddy Ulysses for letting me sleep on his couch when he was still living at home. And I went from being a broke, homeless, destitute loser to now I'm flying around the world. I'm, hanging out with multimillionaires, billionaires, celebrities. Andrew Tate's retweeting me, and like what? Like, I'm a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt pro. Like, how did all of this happen? It happened from two things: my connection to God and confidence. So I'm putting out a course that's called Godlike Confidence. If you want that, I'm gonna give you 90% off. Okay, I'm selling the thing for 3 G's. I'll give you 90% off right now if you pre-order. All you got to do is hit me on King David MMA on Instagram, and I will send you a link to get you pre-ordered. And when you pre-order, because the course isn't live yet, I'm going to hop on a call with you. I'm not going to sell you anything on the call. There's nothing to buy. I don't have anything, nothing like that. It's just going to be a one-on-one combo consultation. And I'm just going to help you identify the areas in your life and just how to fix them. And if you have any questions, I'm not only going to answer them for you on the call, but I'm going to put those into the course. So you'll actually be part of creating the course with me to make sure that I give you the best information. Because like, how did I go from the couch to traveling the world? How did I go from never doing martial arts to a black belt? How did I go to winning a pro MMA title at 44, right? My girlfriend is a dime piece genius. She's a Chinese freaking influencer superstar. Her most recent video got like 10 million views, okay? How did I do that, right? I mean, it can't all be the good looks, right? Anyways, back to the live, man. We got a great show for you tonight. Jawline's looking nice out here, right? And, there's a bunch of problems going down at the White House. And, like I was calling Luke Thomas a hater and everything like that. He's, it's a political favor to Dana White. Who cares, bro? First of all, that's not what it is, right? Trump, is out here pro-America, and he wants to do something epic, a big spectacle for, American independence. And what's more American than sports, right? So he's going to have sports going on. It's not just the UFC. But in this case, because these people are so close-minded, they don't realize other things are happening too. They think that this is just a one-off thing that's happening at the White House, when in fact, Trump's doing a lot of different stuff at the White House to celebrate America, right? Now, Luke has his political bias, right? And that's cool, right? I've met Luke a couple times. He was cool to me in person, but his political bias is spilling into his journalism. And another journalist is Ariel Helwani. And honestly, what these people are turning into are just critics, right? They're just critics. They are critical, and then they call it journal. I'm going to ask the tough questions. No, bro, you're being a hater, dog. Why don't you contribute something, bro? Why don't you do that? But anyways, so the actual problems we're going to get into at the White House, right? There's actual problems, and we're going to go through them one by one, right? I'm going to give you some insight that you may have never thought about because no one's talking about it. And, Dana follows me on Instagram, right? I've got a lot of UFC champions who follow me. There's a lot of people in the know, right? And so some of these conversations that might happen at the UFC Performance Institute or that are happening at Extreme Couture, in pro practice, that the average person doesn't have access to, I'm going to give those to you tonight. And I have a crazy conspiracy theory, guys. I have a crazy, crazy, crazy conspiracy theory. Probably should have started the live, letting you guys know that I have a crazy conspiracy theory about the White House card, but it's going to make total sense when you freaking hear it. And you're going to go, man, King David's a genius. And I'm going to go, you know what, bro? I appreciate you. You're right. You have excellent taste. You have excellent ability to identify intelligence. Because this conspiracy theory is so genius that it must have been sent to me from like God above. Like I'm a channel, like my brain is channeling, because this is what it is. This is what it is. They don't even need to announce it. I already know. Nobody told me this. I didn't hear a rumor. I just put the pieces together. And if you put the pieces together, you're probably going to come to the same conclusion I did. But let's start going through the big problems that are going on and then how to address them, right? So first big problem is they need big stars. They need American stars, right? So let's go through the American stars. Number one, best American fighter out, Jon Jones, okay? Jon Jones has a set of problems because Jon Jones has publicly said he wants to fight at the White House and then retire and go off into the sunset, okay? Well, Dana's not in the business of letting Jon Jones fight for the world heavyweight title and then bounce, right? And this is going to get into my conspiracy theory later because Alex Pereira just vacated the 205 title, and that's making everybody think that the fight is going to be Jon Jones versus Pereira at the White House, right? For the UFC heavyweight title or the interim title. And we're going to get into that, right? And what I tell you is going to be freaking crazy. But before we get into that, we got to address the other American star, Sean Strickland, right? And maybe it'll be him and Hamzat. But here's a couple problems. One, Hamzat's tough. So to the UFC, despite what everybody at Extreme Couture who was there or was hearing about it, everybody believes Strickland can beat Hamzat, right? You heard Strickland at the press conference. He got Eric Nixick to co-sign on it, so it's pretty public information that Strickland feels like he made Hamzat quit, right? So, you know what I mean? That is what it is, right? So we're going in that fight super confident. And, as confident as Strickland and Eric and the team at Extreme Couture are about Strickland's chances, that doesn't mean the UFC's confident, right? And what they do not want is essentially a Russian beating an American in front of Donald Trump at the White House on the celebration of America, right? Like the big, big celebration. And it's like, so that's problem one. Problem two, Strickland says wild shit, right? And Strickland has hot takes, and sometimes Strickland is very American with his takes, but sometimes the Americanness might be in conflict to what's happening politically. So you might go, oh, this is great. I'm pro-America. We shouldn't be in this overseas war, right? Like if you say that, man, that's a problem. So the UFC sees that as an issue. I'm sure they are probably not thrilled that there's a chance that their biggest American star would be kind of anti what Trump and Israel are doing in Iran. And I don't know if he is or not. I haven't talked to him on the subject. Maybe he's pro the thing and he would shout him out and he'd be anti something else, right? But like there's too many variables there, right? The other issue is that Hamzat is essentially boys with a Chechnyan dictator, right? And that guy's a security risk. I believe he's on like a terrorist list. So Hamzat wasn't allowed to come in the country because the dictator's like a global terrorist dude. And that's not the fight that's happening at the White House. So that's a big problem. Now let's go down to the next person who's a big American star. We got Kobe Covington, right? Who would he fight? He can't be the headliner, right? Like, okay, so he can't be. Maybe he can be on the undercard. Who else? Michael Chandler can't be the headliner unless he's fighting Conor, right? And even then, that's probably not going to go good for the We Want America to Win team. Cejudo, gold medalist, he's retired. Maybe we could bring him back, but he's probably not the dude that's going to headline. Kayla Harrison could have headlined potentially. That would have been groundbreaking. Kayla Harrison, she has a good chance of beating Amanda Nunes. She's out with an injury. I believe she has herniated discs in her spine and her neck, unfortunately. So she's out. I mean, who else? Bo Nickel, American, right? Bo can't headline, right? So what are they going to do? The UFC needs stars. And then you start, you start going down to the next, Conor McGregor's a star, but he's not American, right? Conor McGregor sells tickets. Conor McGregor makes the UFC money, but this isn't a for-profit UFC. This is a kind of more charitable type UFC, right? So they are going to lose $60 million. They are hoping that they are going to sell $30 million in sponsorship and recoup something. But the cost, just the production cost as it stands right now, is being alleged at $60 million. So they're coming out of pocket $60 million to do this, to make history, right? And now we got Ariel Helwani and Luke Thomas hating on it, right? And it's like, dude, then you guys go put up $60 million and put up do your own show, okay? Dude, personally, man, these freaking critics, bro, that just sit on the sidelines and they don't do anything and they just talk, bro. It's like, it's so amongst fighters, it's also funny because when we watch our fights back and we hear the commentators and the commentators are saying absolute nonsense, I understand they got to talk, right? They've got to get through the 15 or 25 minutes of the fight, right? And they got to say something. But sometimes they don't know what they're talking about, or they're critical, or, oh, someone's on these. Dude, bro, this guy wrestled Division I, dog. He's not just the dude to just stand, so-and-so really needs to stand up. No shit, bro. No shit, right? So it's kind of similar with these journalists who think that asking, asshole questions that are hater ass questions that are non-productive, that are actually destructive. Like when Ariel leaked the freaking Brock Lesnar news and Dana and his team had put like over $1 million into the like production of how they're going to release it to the people, and they wanted to do something for the people to get the people hype, and then Ariel's going to sneak it, and I am a journalist, I have the right. Like, bro, get the fuck out of here with that, bro. No, but dude, bro, that's not journalism, that's being a scumbag. And then you want them to let you in the venue and ask more questions. Bro, get out of here, dog. Anyways, you guys got me on a tangent. I'm on a rant right now. Okay, so the UFC card needs Americans, and they need stars, right? They said they're going to announce the card this week. Okay, and now we'll get right into the conspiracy theory off the jump, because the stars are Connor, right? Maybe Suge, right? Sugar Sean O'Malley could fight, but like they don't want him to lose to a Russian dude, And is he the most American guy? I guess maybe he could be slotted as like, but he's not like, walking out with the flag and American values and picket fence and barbecues. He's on some like rainbow hair and like polygamy, multiple women, and who knows what she's up to. I don't know what their relationship's like. I'm not an expert on their relationship. I just know that it involves multiple people, and that's just like kind of non-traditional, right? Like he's not the poster dude. He's admitted he's got some stuff with drugs in the past and all that, and he's cleaned up now and everything like that. I'm happy for him, but like, is he the American poster child? Well, I guess they could try and slate him in as that, right? But then he's fighting a tough Russian dude in Peter Yan. We need guaranteed dubs, so that brings us back to John Jones. I mean, who else do we have that are American, like real stars? Masvidal, right? Masvidal is pro-Trump. It all works out, except Masvidal hasn't fought in years. Masvidal, I believe, had felony charges from allegedly attacking Colby Covington, right? And then who else do we got? Nate Diaz. Well, that's cool if he fights Connor, but then again, maybe he wins, maybe he doesn't, right? And then he's not like the most, repping America dude out there, So what are we going to do? So here's my conspiracy theory, guys. And I'm going to say it and you're going to go, that, bro, you just said it wasn't that. And then I'm going to explain why. Okay. I want to tell you guys, but I don't want you to jump to the conclusion that it's what you think it is. It's different. So I'm going to say it and let me explain it, because it's going to be different. So, okay, I'll just say it. 3, 2, you guys ready? 1. It's going to be John Jones versus Alex Pereira as the main event of the UFC White House card. And now I know. You're going, dude, you just said that they're not going to have John Jones fight for the heavyweight title. They're not. And it's like, now you're going to go, well, Alex didn't vacate the belt just to go up in weight to not fight for the title. So what, they're just going to do some super fight headliner and there's not going to be a title? Trump said he wants 7 or 8 title fights, right? Which is ambitious. So, okay, what could we do? Make another BMF belt. They're going to make either an inaugural, like, baddest motherfucker of all time belt or something similar to that. Or they're going to, like, say, hey, this is the heavyweight BMF. Or they're going to say this is the White House BMF. Or they're going to say this is the legend BMF. Or this is the greatest combat athlete in history MF, right? You know what I mean? Something like that. So it's going to be a BMF title, John Jones versus Alex Pereira. Now, this covers, we're going to have an American. We have an American who's favored to win. He's very, very, very likely to take Alex Pereira down and finish him, right? This is stacking everything in our favor. Pereira's coming up in weight. It's a title fight. Trump wants 7 or 8 titles. This fulfills their obligation to Paramount, where they have to put on a certain amount of title fights. This This is the solution to everything. It's John Jones versus Alex Pereira, BMF title, headlining the White House card. There you guys. Clip that, post that. That's how we do it. John Jones versus Alex Pereira. That official. I'm saying that's what it's about to be, right? And they're going to do it for a BMF title, okay? Because they can't do it for the heavyweight title because then, like, how does that look to Tom Aspinall, right? And they can't give John Jones an opportunity to win the belt and bounce because he's going to ask for 30 million, right? So they don't want that, or he's going to ask for 50 million. Oh, I'm already retired. Give me 50 million, right? They can't have, Pereira win the title, right? So they can't put him in with like Cyril Gahn or somebody who's going to strike with him, right? So what are they going to do? They need an American. They need an American to win. And then, that makes, see, that's what we do here. We make sense here. If it don't make dollars, it don't make sense. So we're out here, we're thinking like these billionaires are thinking, right? Okay, so that's what I'm kind of getting at, all right? Is that the $1 billion big brain energy says, how do we make it a win-win for everybody? We've got these things that we've got to check off, right? How do we check them all off without doing the things that we can't have happen? We can't have John Jones bounce with the heavyweight title. We can't have Pereira beat up Cyril Gahn as the freaking White House main event. You know what I mean? Who's the co-main? Yeah, so okay, that's a great question. Now, people are speculating that Conor's going to be on the card, but the problem with Conor being on the card is Conor generates a lot of money in ticket sales. Conor's a big gate. So not only is the UFC going to lose approximately $30 million putting on the White House card, then they're going to go lose another gate on Conor not being at the gate at the next event or the previous event, right? So they got to put Conor on a different event, because they need the gate, right? Like, let's at least make up some of the 30 million. We'll put Conor versus Chandler, or Conor versus Gaethje, or Conor versus, whoever on International Fight Week. We'll go make $18 million on the gate. That'll recoup some of our losses that we're going to have on the $30 million loss we're about to take on the White House card. We're going to make history. We're going to get Conor back. If Conor looks good, who knows? Maybe he fights again. Maybe he doesn't, right? But either way, we've used him to generate some revenue because he's the number one revenue generating person in the sport. We've got John Jones over here who's no longer able to negotiate because we sent him out on a hero's exit, right? He beat Pereira. We don't need Pereira for the heavyweight title, right? He can drop back down to 205 and go win it again, right? Then we have Aspinall versus Cyril Gahn 2, coming up in the future when Aspinall's better. I heard that Conor Diaz 3 is in negotiations. Yeah, I would imagine that's a great play. That's the actual fight, right? Let's be real. As fun as Conor cutting through Michael Chandler like a knife through butter, I'm going to break your nose. You know what I mean? Like all that, that's fun, right? But the real fight, the money fight, Conor Diaz 3, for all the marbles, right? The one that matters, right? That, I believe that would be International Fight Week. I believe it's John Jones versus Pereira for the heavyweight BMF at the White House. Then you get the picture of the freaking red, white, and blue fireworks, the fighter jets going off, John Jones holding the belt. He's in there with Trump. You know what I mean? Trump, Dana, John Jones, the belt, the fireworks, the jets going off, the White House in the background. Epic. And then John Jones rides off into the sunset. Dana doesn't have to negotiate with the guy anymore. Tom Aspinall still the heavyweight champ. He rematches Cyril Gahn. Now we're back in the British market, right? Making money overseas. He's going to beat Cyril Gahn. He's going to make adjustments, right? Now everything's good, right, in the world. And I believe that's what's going to happen. I believe that's how they're going to solve these problems at the White House card. And people are saying rumors that Saudi money is pulling out of their partnership with TKO due to the war on Iran. And that's fake news, right? So I was talking about that in a previous video, and I did more research on that. And that's actually just people clickbaiting. And then the other thing is that, obviously they need an undercard, but we're running out of like high profile Americans, but they will probably put some of those Americans on the undercard that they can versus favorable matchups, but they don't need them to win. What does it say? How many fights you think we're going to get? Oh, man. Okay, so they said there's going to be a limited card. I have heard that it's going to be a limited card. Trump says there's going to be 7 or 8 title fights or something like that. He said 6, 7 title fights. Maybe he was trying to go viral and get click farmed. 6, 7, right? What's that say? Message extracted. All right, we extracted messages. But all right, so then let's say, I don't know, whoever's ready, right? Let's just say it's Bo Nickel. Bo Nickel fights some dude. They give Bo Nickel a favorable matchup. Maybe he wins, maybe he doesn't. Okay, great. Another American one, right? They're going to put some other people on the card that are kind of fun or whatever. But from what I heard, that they are looking at, and this isn't confirmed, but they're looking at multiple titles because those titles can take up an allotted amount of time. And in order to have a full card, right, if you have more titles, you have less fights. Because let's say it's 10 fights that are 3 rounds, 10 3-rounders, right? That's different than, 7 5-rounders, right? And so if it's all title fights, well, then that same time is taken up by a lesser amount of fights. So from my understanding, that's what they were looking at when they were saying that there's going to be less fights. I would imagine it's also a logistical nightmare. The more people that they got to clear through, Secret Service, the more people that they got to clear for security clearances. They've already got to clear however many people are coming to be in the crowd, right? Those are probably going to be people who are already vetted, like billionaires and like, dignitaries and things like that. So that should be pretty straightforward. But, I think if we get 7 fights on the night, man, I think that's a great accomplishment. I'm not looking for 13 fights. I'm not looking for everybody to be on the prelims. I'm looking for a great show with 7 fights, like 7 great fights. If we get 7 great fights on the White House lawn, the White House in the background, Donald Trump in the front row, fighter jets with freaking like red and blue smoke coming out of the back of them, fireworks going off, 7 fights, Donald Trump walking out to Kid Rock, you know what I mean? Like, I think that's a great card. I'm freaking stoked for this thing. I'm excited to see who they announce. I feel like they're going to do it well. I know some of the other cards have been, like, this is going to be the biggest card in history. And then when you see the card, you're like, what? And then the fights turn out to be awesome. I think that this card is going to have a lot of names on it. And I think that, dude, we get 5 fights, man. The right 5 fights for the inaugural White House card, history in the making with John Jones. You don't think that a UFC Saturday White House card and then a Sunday Vegas? I couldn't read all that. Something about Sunday Vegas boxing. What we doing? Zuffa boxing the day after? Oh shit! Maybe I'll go to Zuffa boxing next. No telling what I might do. Maybe I'll go scrap Conor Ben. I heard Conor Ben's looking for a super fight. He fights 147. He popped positive boxing the White House card. Oh, is that what they're doing? The day after Zuffa boxing at the White House? What? That'd be dude. Okay, well, see, now it's all coming together. Now that would make sense why they would pay Conor Ben $15 million. But who's he gonna fight? Do they have an American for him to fight? Or what's that Irish dude that Dana likes? The boxer. Maybe they're going to have them fight, right? Like, but like it's an American thing, man. We don't need a British guy versus an Irish guy as the main event. But that would be epic, man. UFC one day, boxing the next day. Dude, White House, bro. Listen, man. Argue about politics all you want. this would be the coolest White House ever. That like as messed up as politics can be, right? And as messed up as it's been essentially with every president that's ever been president, right? And like if it's all gonna be crazy foreign policy, political positioning, sending missiles over there, sending drones here. But like, if it's going to be that either way, like if we're stuck with that either way, at least we got a cool White House, right? Like we got a cool White House, guys. I mean, I'm seeing the silver lining, right? Like let's look at the positives, right? And if we could get, who would we get? Who's an American boxer that could represent on the White House card? Like, who do we have, man? That dude, now I'm gonna do some research. Now that's got me thinking, because that would be awesome. Dude, listen, I'm gonna go one step further, guys. What if we power slap the day before? What if we power slap the day before? All right, no, I'm just playing. That's talking crazy. All right, maybe one power slap, one little power slap, one little slap to start. Can you imagine if they put power slap? If they put power slap on before the UFC the day before at the White House, just one slap, guys. You know what I mean? That'd be wild. Boxing the day after. Fight brings everybody together. It doesn't matter politics. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. People are coming together, man. This is going to be a unifying moment. You know, I'm personally, as much fun as I have saying post-fight speeches, trolling the crowd, and getting people to throw things at me or getting them to boo me, and I've said some crazy stuff after fights. In fact, I shouted out Donald Trump and Andrew Tate and a bunch of people after one fight, and the Minnesota crowd booed me. But honestly, like, I like to think of myself as like a fucking freak genius, like a very smart person. And I'm smart enough to understand that, like, I don't have all the information, right? Like, I don't actually know what's going on overseas, right? Like, to my understanding, right now, Qatar has shut down their production of like liquid gases fuel, like natural gas, right? And that is how I believe 60% of Britain, of England, fuels their homes. Okay. So the issue is complex, right? Most people don't know about that, right? Most people don't know that, like, in the event that hypothetically some Western countries get together, like, and I'm not calling Israel a Western country, I'm just saying that they are like aligned with America to some extent, right? And there's not something that happens in Iran, and Iran starts to work with China, and then China feels emboldened and takes over Taiwan, right? Which they don't even claim Taiwan as its own, that Taiwan is a sovereign entity that's its own country, right? And then we don't have any superconductors, now we don't have any computers, right? Like, so that's what I'm saying, right? Forget the politics. That's why when Luke Thomas is talking about like political favors, this is clearly a political favor. Bro, you don't know anything about politics, bro. You're just complaining, dude. Dude, this is gonna be the White House. I'm talking F-16s, dude. They might bring a stealth bomber to fly over. Can you imagine? Bunch of F-16s like this and a stealth bomber in the middle, and the sky has got freaking like smoke coming out the back of all these, and it's all red and blue, and the fireworks are popping off, and John Jones is standing there unfazed with the belt on. You know what I'm like? Come on, bro. Anyways, you guys got me hyped up, man. Yeah. So shout out to everybody that's chatting, man. I'm having fun. I love doing these lives. I'm trying to do one every day, I might even do 2 a day. No telling what I might do. I might go on a different channel. Don't forget the national anthem. Yeah, national anthem, White House in the octagon. You know what I mean? The whole thing. I might get an invite up there. I might wear my Fight Circus Felony Charles Bennett shirt. You know what I mean? I'm a wild card. I might do that, guys. No telling. Right? I might DM Dana right now. Okay? He follows me. I might be like, hey man, I don't ask you for a lot, dog. I don't ask you for a lot, but I'm gonna need like a +1. I'm gonna need a +1 for the White House card, bro. You know what I mean? You might see me in the front row. Looking handsome. Anyways, so yeah, that's my conspiracy theory. John Jones, Alex Pereira, White House main event. What's this? What's up? We appreciate you. Thank you for always being good to. God bless you. You're a good guy too. Hey man, God bless you. Hey, let's go. But yeah, that's the conspiracy theory. John Jones, Alex Pereira, White House, BMF main event. It solves all the problems, guys. It solves all the problems. Anyways, I'm going to hop on here again tomorrow. So as DC says, tell a friend to tell a friend that King David's going live. And I'm going to figure out the software so that I can multi-stream on Kick as well. We're going to be out here, guys. We're going to be out here. And make sure you subscribe, and tap the notifications so that you can hop on the lives with me, right? So that we can have a conversation, right? So anyways, that's what we're doing. When Felony coming back to Vegas? Oh, bro, I heard he is in the air tomorrow. No telling what he might do. But yeah, so when Felony gets back, we're hopping on the lives together. We're doing an embedded for his BKFC fight. We're popping out to Hawaii. He's fighting a local dude in Hawaii, right? And from what I understand, there's a lot on the line because apparently the Hawaiian culture is very, very prone to street fighting, and they're very prone to like sticking together. So me as a white dude and Felony as a black dude coming into Hawaii, and he's going to knock out their local dude in front of everybody on the island that knows that dude, right? His friends, his family, everybody he came up with, everybody at his gym. There's like probably every single person in that city is going to be in the venue, and Felony's going to KO that man stiff, and then he and I are going to bounce out, and no telling what might happen, right? Like it's going to get sketchy, right? We're going into enemy territory, and we're fully prepared. I'm asking for a fight on the card myself. I'm asking for a local guy, right? Like I'm already going out with Felony. Felony doesn't even concern himself with like the opponent. Felony doesn't really, he says he doesn't want me to coach him during the fight, only in the corner when he comes back. So he doesn't need a lot of like hand holding. He's approaching 100 fights, right? So in the back, we warm up a little, but I'm kind of the same way. I'm like, hey man, I'm gonna go out there, put my hands up, my chin down, and punch somebody in the face. So, we're going into enemy territory. Felony's going to be on a win streak. He's already on a win streak technically because he beat up Death Sentence, right? Which, love that fight or hate that fight, right? That happened. He did body slam him and choke him, okay? And now he just KO'd a dude in that guy's hometown, and they brought Felony in to lose, and Felony messed up a lot of people's parlays, and Felony was like a 2,000 underdog or whatever. So, I know a lot of people that made a lot of money on that because I told everybody, I said, listen, man, I train with the best guys in the world. Felony has world-class speed and Felony has world-class power. And I've got him in such good shape that he's gonna break this dude cardio-wise. If this dude somehow stays conscious and stays out of the ambulance, this guy's gonna break cardio-wise. And Felony broke his jaw and his cardio. So, that's how we do it. And we're going to go do it again in Hawaii. So, like, subscribe, and turn on notifications because when he and I go live, it's going to be going on multiple times this week. And I want you guys there. So, it'd be dope to have you. All right. I love you guys. Have a good night. Peace.